just gonna so let's just jump into our main topic of the day. All right, wrestlers in Hollywood. So this topic for me came up because I was watching George and Sal talking about Owen Hart, and I have, like I said in the beginning, I have little to no knowledge of wrestling, just 90s, 80s, and early 2000s. And I seen the Owen Hart and the Hart family documentary that they did for them, and how tragic his death was and how it impacted the wrestling community. So as George was talking about him and Sal, and I believe I'm trying to remember your guest that you had that night.
Remy Blue.
Remy? Okay. You guys were talking about it, and you guys were very passionate about it. I sat there and I was just like, Owen Hart would have been great as an actor because he was a really good looking guy during that time. Like, he would have been a phenomenal actor. And then I started thinking
Oh,
about
he would have
Dwayne.
been more.
Huh?
He would have been more of a funny comedian because that the ribs that this man would pull were the fucking stuff of legends, and they weren't like Mr. Fuji, Kurt Hennig level type ribs. He was more of a playful type person. Like it's funny
Yeah.
that we talk that we're talking about this, and now I'm gonna start talking a lot because I'll let y'all talk too much. Um, I was just watching the other day the Ahmed Johnson shoot interview that he did.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ahmed Johnson gets a bad name because of of how he was in his push, and he was basically a flop
Yeah.
according to some, not to me. But when he was asked about Owen Hart, this man had you could see his face light up talking about Owen. And one story that well, there was a couple stories that he mentioned, about Owen. One in particular was I guess it had to be WrestleMania 12,
Mm-hmm.
um, where Owen Hart pretended to be somebody because Owen Hart was notorious for making these phone calls and disguising his voice.
Okay.
So he basically pretended to be somebody from the NBC studios or whatever, maybe CBS, whatever Jay Leno, or not Jay Leno, Dave Letterman was on, or Jay Leno. I think it was Jay Leno or Dave Letterman, one of the two. And he was basically saying that he was the folks and that they were going to need him on TV. They booked him for an interview on their particular night show.
Mm-hmm.
So Ahmed Johnson goes spends like 4 grand on like a suit, gaiters, chains, looking decked out, freshly pimped out,
Mm-hmm.
and said, okay, make sure that 8 o'clock you be outside. Your limo's gonna come at 8 o'clock. So then Bulldog and Owen come walking out. So you should know already that this is gonna be up to no good with Bulldog and Owen walking out together. And they're like, damn, how you get, this, we've been here for years and we ain't getting no we're not being asked to come on the big shows to do these interviews. And he's like, oh, and Ahmed was like, hey, that's just how it is. And then Owen mentioned to him, like, hey, ain't your limo supposed to be here at 8 o'clock? And Ahmed Johnson, like, yeah, you're right. Wait, how you know about that? And then that's when everything happened. Bret Hart's in the bushes, just laughing his ass off, coming out, and Ahmed Johnson realized that he'd been ribbed.
Oh.
Another story that he told about Owen Hart, it was either Owen or Davey.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the middle of his match at a house show, and Mike Rotunda's the I guess the agent. They're doing a match, and in the middle of Ahmed Johnson's match, they play his music. So Ahmed thinking, okay, it's time to take the match home. So toss the guy to the rope, Pearl River plunge, 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming right at walking out the music booth because Mike Rotunda's pissed off is Owen and Davey. And then Owen's like, I didn't do it. That was Davey. And then Davey's like, I didn't do it. That was Owen. You know, just the fact that, many wrestlers, you name it, Brett, Edge Pac, Scott Hall, any wrestler pretty much don't got nothing bad to say about Owen Hart. He was that much of a loved guy.
Mm-hmm.
Would I have seen him doing something in Hollywood? Maybe. Probably could play a serious role, but I see him more like Jim Carrey, kind of like,
Probably.
because he's just, or just like that, like those Disney movies where like he had when he had the long hair, like kind of like how I got my hair now.
Uh huh.
When Owen had his hair, he'd probably be one of those sleazy, bad
The
guys in
villains.
like a Disney movie, that wears the suit like in Blank Check,
Oh
some
yeah.
shit like that. You know, man, I fucking miss Owen, man. I grew up watching. I grew up watching Owen Hart. And it wasn't until I became an adult or older to really learn to appreciate, Owen Hart, because obviously when he died, I was still a kid. I was like 11 when he passed away. So I watched him in like my 7, 8 years of 7, 8 years old, watching Owen Hart being the bad guy fighting against his brother Brett, and then him doing the Hart Foundation, and then him joining the Nation, and then him tag teaming with Jeff Jarrett. I seen all of that,
Yeah.
and my favorite Owen Hart reincarnation was the Black Heart when he came back. I think want to say late '97, early '98 when he was like the rebel, and he had the singlet where it was like black with the orange stripes and the blue heart,
Mm-hmm.
basically, with the flames coming out the side of the heart.
Okay.
That was the Owen Hart that I remember and grew up on. Notice how that spotlight hits me when I said that. You know, good like that. But not like, I mean, just man, when I think of Owen, I think of all. I mostly think of his WWE run, and it wasn't until I was an adult and I started getting into Japanese wrestling that I started learning about the rich history that he had in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and wrestling guys like Jushin Thunder Liger and Hase, and like having these matches. He was one of the first gaijins to be the first ever IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and him wrestling in Japan, in Mexico against guys like Connect, and him wrestling in Germany for Otto Van Watts. This guy just, he's been everywhere and done everything, and he is someone that should be spoke about a lot more.
Yeah.
And I don't, fault Martha for not wanting WWE to celebrate his life because of the fact that he died
Doing
on
something he loved.
and even then he didn't want to do that stunt, and Vince McMahon made him, because at the end of the day, Vince McMahon is it has final say so,
Hey,
and
Sal, doesn't the Owen Hart Legacy Tournament kind of qualifiers start tonight?
yeah, for the women's the old
Oh,
cup
okay.
starts tonight on AEW Dynamite, 8 o'clock p.m. on TBS in 5 minutes. Um, yeah, like I love the fact that Owen Hart is being celebrated, even though he was never an AEW superstar. But the fact that Martha trusts AEW enough to know that they're gonna honor Owen's legacy, and for that new generations of fans who don't have Peacock or the WWE network outside of America to get to know who Owen Hart is, because he is someone that died way too soon and had a lot,
A going for him.
because of the fact that I guarantee if he was still alive around that time, that Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Ken Shamrock, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, if he would have still been alive around that time, I guarantee you that mid card that WWF would have had
Mm-hmm.
in '99 to 2000s,
Oh, we lost.
with all due respect to guys like Triple H, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, the main event guys, the main
Uh-huh.
event guys would have had a fucking run for the money with the mid card that WWE would have had Owen Hart would have been alive with the Kurt Angles and the Jerichos and the Guerreros and the Benoits. And that's just real talk. He would have had a resurgence and probably would have
Exclamation mark.
been world champion.
Exclamation mark at the end of that sentence, Sal.
No. No, damn. I'm
Like,
like, damn. I'm like,
I,
I'm like, I mentioned Owen Hart, but I'm just like,
yeah,
no.
well, like Sal earlier when we were doing the Will Smith Chris Rock segment, he said that we took all his points.
Yeah.
Well, now Sal took all three of our points.
Well,
Damn
because
right
like
I
my
did.
point was like I was pointing out that he would have been great if he was still around. Like he would have probably got into acting, because kind of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, like he got into acting, but he probably sticks to that now because he retired from wrestling and went straight to acting. Because you mentioned what's it called? John Cena jumped into acting. What was it? Andre the Giant acted, which I still have not finished. Princess, was it Princess Bride? I have not finished it. I cannot finish
Yeah,
it.
Princess Bride, and also he was Princess Bride. He was also, I think, Bigfoot in I'm trying to think what TV show, $6 Million Man, I think, or some
Probably.
old TV show from back in the day.
Hmm.
Because I know the reason I know it because WWE is making figures of like wrestlers that were like in different movies or TV shows.
Oh,
And I know the first series was Roddy Piper from They Live, John Cena, Fast Nine, The Rock from Hobbs and Shaw, and then series two is supposed to be The Rock from Scorpion King, Roman Reigns from the Hobbs and Shaw movie, and Andre the Giant as Bigfoot. I think from the $6 Million Man TV show.
probably.
So I know that and then also because of the fact that any Andre documentary that's ever been made, I'm pretty sure they spoke about that.
Can I say something? If they ever make a Hulk Hogan Suburban Commando action figure, I'm getting that.
I would probably get the Hogan Mr. Nanny figure.
Oh God, Mr. Nanny. Oh God, him in the tutu.
Oh god.
But no, I bet I could beat you in this one, Sal. I would get the Undertaker from the Suburban Commando as the bounty hunters.
With the little baby voice. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, but to kind of like piggyback off this topic a little bit, listen, some people made a great career outside of WWF when they jumped or
Eddie Guerrero would have
WWE.
been perfect. Eddie Guerrero should have did a movie.
Oh,
Oh,
hands down. He would have been perfect in something like Fast and the Furious.
Nah, I mean, well, obviously for a fact, being that I'm Chicano, he's a fellow Chicano like me. I could have seen him doing something like in a funny Chicano type movie, and then maybe on something on a big screen on a major, motion picture. I could probably see not no release the DVD only.
No, I see him Fast and the Furious. I'm sorry, but I see him in like I could have seen him being one of the main guys, whether it be a villain or a good guy, in one of the Fast and the Furious movies. And
See,
for some reason,
as opposed to Owen,
yeah,
he's
but
not
for some reason, Emily's laughing. What?
Yeah.
Why? Is it because I'm saying he should have been in a Fast and the Furious movie?
I'm just chilling.
He just wants to show
I'm
his
just
shirt.
listening.
Emily just wants to show his shirt. Here's your plug. There you go.
there's another plug.
Anyway,
I'm just listening. I'm just listening to you.
but here's the thing. Some people at the same time did not make a great career outside of wrestling when it came to movies. I actually started watching the Evil series on Peacock on WWE, and Hulk Hogan actually came out and said, "Hey, I didn't do good in Hollywood."
No, you didn't.
He did.
Because Hollywood.
I
mean, he
gave
had a
you
big
movies,
name,
TV
but
shows,
people
and
pick it.
go on.
It was because he did those bullshit ass movies. I mean, yes, they were movies that I remember as a kid growing up watching, but he didn't take himself. He probably wasn't offered nothing serious because of other than Rocky 3 as Thunder Lips, in which he just basically played a wrestler.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
he only played in that movie for what, like 5-10 minutes at most? I'm talking about like full-fledged. Like me, like you and I, Sal, we could go back and say, hey, we were entertained by Mr. Nanny. We were entertained by Suburban Commando when we were kids. But if we said now, like if we were to say, let's turn on this movie for the first time now, we'll be like, what the hell is this?
That's like half of
So
the
is-
Hey,
for the 90s for
To
me.
me, No Holds Barred is a classic. Okay, and I know that talking about Hulk Hogan ain't really the cool thing to do nowadays because apparently nobody can ever be forgiven of their past and shit.
Mhm.
So I don't want to be crucified talking about Hulk Hogan. But I mean, No Holds Barred is a classic for me. What's that smell?
That's the only one. That's the only one.
Cookie.
What, he just came by or something? What just happened?
What happened?
No, the line where Hogan had that one bad guy and he asked him, "What's that smell?" The dude shit his pants and said, "Dookie."
Oh, God. I remember that scene. I bet no one was able to tell that was acts of demolition at the beginning of the movie. No, wait. That's Mr. Nanny.
Stan Hansen was in the No Hold Bar.
Yeah, Stan Hansen was on there. Don Morocco, I think, was the main guy at the beginning, I think, right?
I'll have to go back and look because it's been a while since I watched that movie.
I don't want to take up all the credit here. Emily, like, what wrestlers would you have wanted to see in Hollywood now?
Sasha Banks.
Well, so you guys know that my wrestling experience is pretty new. Like I'm pretty modern wrestling. And when it comes to wrestlers going into Hollywood, I think it's a good opportunity coming from somebody who is currently a wrestler. And now I haven't watched too many movies, but I do know that like some of them are just not good. Like some people just can't act, but like like I feel like somebody who's done it and consistently stayed with wrestling is the Miz has been in some things, and so I think he's a good example of somebody who, because I don't like knowing that like there have been wrestlers who went to wrestling so they could get into Hollywood, and I don't know, like so like I feel like it's a good thing to do after your career or during your career, but I feel like as somebody who enjoys wrestling and has a passion for wrestling, using wrestling as a into Hollywood, I don't like it. But
I got a general question for you, Em. Knowing that you're the only active wrestler in this room right now.
Yeah.
Let's say if winding down your career and stuff, a movie producer walked up to you right now and said, "Hey, I want you in a movie." What type of movie would you want to be? Comedy, action?
Well, that's a good question. I think it would be comedy would be fun. I couldn't do drama because I can't keep a serious.
I can see you doing a horror movie.
If someone's like, you got to get in their face and be like, I love you. I can't. I don't know how I don't laugh when I'm doing a match.
I can see you doing a horror movie. But
I would, and I'd be the first one dead. Like if I was in a horror movie, I would be that first person
not
that
like
dies.
No. I see you as a main character in a horror movie, but not like a gory slasher. It's more like one of those psychological thriller type movies where it's based off your gimmick, where you're like, oh, I'm your best friend, and then be one of those that like fucking Lena Bobbitt, foot cut off, or smack the ankles, like one of those type of where you look at your oh, she's like a normal chick, and in real life she's crazy as fuck.
Yes. No, that would be fun.
I actually thought of was Colombiana with what's her name? Zoe.
I know who you're talking about. Zoe Saldana.
Thank you. Like that was the first thing I can picture you in, because it's one of those. It's like an action film, and it's like she looked innocent, but it's just like she was trained to be an assassin. Like that.
Yeah,
I
that'd
can
be
see you doing.
fun.
I could see Lena in a drama. I could definitely see Lena in a drama. I could see Salvador either in an action or comedy.
Nah, I probably would be more of maybe a little bit of comedy, but I'm more like one of those like straight to DVD movies.
All right.
Like they would probably have me as Cholo number 2, and it's like, come on, bro. Shit.
Like Hector, there's this actor here in California named Hector that he plays Hector throughout every movie.
Noel, you talking about Noel G?
Yes.
If I want to do Noel G, yeah, I know who he is. Yeah, like they'll probably like try to typecast me as one of those type of cholos in which I may have a plethora of range. Like I could be one of those, like I could be like a street evangelist, that's like is trying to fight for the hood, and to bring good, and they could probably see me as one of those corner boys, or they could see me as a head honcho dope boy, or they could see me as, man, I don't know, maybe a George Lopez or a Cheech Marine, or some shit like, or an Emilio Rivera, some shit like that.
If we ever see a remake or reboot of Friday, we now see Salvador in that movie.
Yes.
Okay, see that I have long hair, right? And my beard. I had my brother told me the other day, like, bro, you look like you could be one of those bikers in Mayans. And I'm like, I probably could, but and like I already have like this, like if you don't know me enough to know that I'm a very joking, jovial person, you just look at me like this.
Yeah. That intimidation is just like, okay, let's just back out.
Like, I'm gonna walk by.
Yes, which is why I feel like maybe me wearing bright colors, being as articulate, and to let you know that It's okay. I'm not gonna cave you in your shit. Just don't say shit about my kids. I won't smack the fuck out of you like Will. Keep my kid's name out your fucking stop.
Hey, Emily would be great in The Walking Dead.
I see. No.
Why?
Well, I don't like apocalyptic. Put me in American Horror Story.
Yeah, I can see it.
I could, because the thing is, American Horror Story has. I would be perfect if I had blonde hair in the hotel season because they were vampires.
Yeah.
I see Lena like a if she was like a character in the movie. I see you like a child service person.
What?
Really?
I don't know. Maybe it's the hair. It's the hair that's giving me that vibe. Like like with the office like for like children and shit like that.
Well,
The kid.
but also let's kind of like stir away from Hogan here first. Another person who failed in Hollywood, and I'm sorry, you might disagree, or maybe you do agree, but another person that did horrible in Hollywood was Kane. See No Evil was one of the two.
Trying to be an actor though, bro. That's the thing. He was not trying to be no actor. That man's a politician.
Yeah, he is.
No, okay, but See No Evil was two of the worst horror films I've ever seen.
Yes.
They were meant to be that way. He got paid for it. No,
I was gonna say, I'm sure I didn't see the movies, but I'm sure they just picked him because he was huge.
Yes, because of his character that played, the demon, the devil's favorite demon or the big red machine. He's a big, intimidating guy. His face looks kind of ugly. Perfect thing for a horror character.
You know who would be great in Hollywood right now? If I took a choice, I think the next best actor in to turn to acting is Biggie.
Wait, Biggie?
Nah, I see Biggie end up in like a bunch of fucking Medea type movies.
Alright,
Yeah,
so for the
no.
person that is not a wrestling, not savvy in wrestling, I'm thinking I'm like Biggie. Who's Biggie?
Biggie.
I'm like,
Biggie
Smalls is gone. I'm sorry, he passed away. But
Yeah, no,
Again, did you not hear her say that her wrestling knowledge only goes into like maybe the early 2000s?
I just throwing names out there, but
Also,
Big E is the
another one. What I was thinking too was which he was just
Hey,
talking about today too.
Are you familiar with a woman named Sasha Banks?
I was, no, sorry, no.
That's Snoop Dogg's cousin. She wrestles in WWE right
She
now.
does.
She's Snoop Dogg's cousin.
Huh? I didn't know. Now I'm gonna go look that up now. I didn't know that. See, that's news.
Yeah, she's a
she
bitch.
would be good.
Anyways,
I'm just like, because
She would be
I
good.
can
I
tell you
agree.
this is that I'm
she's
like,
already on the trajectory. She was in Star Wars: The Mandalorian, kicking Boba Fett's ass.
She did amazing.
I didn't see it, but according to what she said,
She did great, even though she didn't have many lines in the show. But she did great. Lena, she was the very out of the three women that showed up in The Mandalorian. She was, no offense to, but she was the smallest with the bluish hair.
it's gonna take me a while because like Mandalorian, which season?
Season
one. You only got one season.
No, it got
no,
two.
there's
They're filming season
Oh,
3.
season 2 then.
So
I think
Sasha Banks, Star Wars.
I think she's season 1, Lena.
let me check real quick.
I'll look it up for you right now. Hold on.
But she did amazing. I loved her way. She portrayed a bounty hunter perfectly. Like I loved it. Go ahead, Em.
You know who I think would be good, and a lot of people might disagree with me, and it's probably just because he's so...
She was the one that was hanging out with the other 3 Mandalorians. And
Yes, she was part of the trio female team.
I remember her very vividly. She was eating something, and it was just so gross that how she slurped it. I was like, oh, it's like okay, whatever the hell you just ate, I don't want it now.
She was in 2 episodes of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, the introduction of the females, and then at the final episode where they had to fight off the Death Troopers.
Yes, I remember that.
But
Shit.
Em, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, because you asked who I would think, and I couldn't think of anybody, so I was just sitting here like thinking. So I think
Yeah.
MJF would be really good in a like
Yes,
in like
yes,
a villain or
yes,
evil like businessman
yes,
character.
yes. And speaking about that, make sure you tune in. It, I don't know when this is gonna. Well,
I
make sure
have it
you
up.
tune into Wrestle City Radio because Emily, Salvador, and myself will be touching on that topic of MJF and Tony Khan backstage on a future episode of Wrestle City Radio.
I'm
I
behind,
will
so I have no idea what you're
What's
talking
going
about.
on with MJF and Tony Khan?
that Tony Khan had a very heated argument with MJF backstage because the interview, the one where he was talking about the WWE, where he was giving, props to WWE and how he likes 2.0 and all that stuff.
Oh, I don't think it was because of that. I think he was upset because he didn't.
No, not
no,
because of,
well, no, he didn't book the interview through
that's why.
Oh, but
AEW. He did that shit on his own.
Yeah, that's why they got in a heated argument. So basically, and on top of that, now I'm hearing rumors that MJF is not even happy with his contract. So,
Well, he signed that shit. Unless WWE plans on buying him out.
but yes, I do agree with you. I do agree. MJF, I could imagine that man as a villain in a movie.
Like an or like he's like, some rich guy in this really big like office, and he's a businessman.
Okay, so let me. This is for like a person like me. I'm a martial arts junkie sometimes, and I always said to myself, "Bro, what if they ever put Jet Li and Jackie Chan in a movie together?" And they eventually did. It was something about the. Yeah, they eventually did with something about the Monkey King or something. I don't know, and they actually had a fight scene. So imagine, picture this in your head. Imagine if we have the same pairing with MJF and The Miz in the same movie.
Yes. That would be
Except
good.
the Miz, it could be the Marine. It could be the Marine 8 for all I care. And it'll be Miz doing the good guy, as he's done for all the Marine movies, versus MJF being the villain.
Yeah.
Hollywood, if you get that done, credit me. Credit me and Emily Locke.
I was gonna say me.
Hey, listen, I will buy that DVD. If I find out that MJF and Miz are in the same movie together, I will buy the movie.
That's hilarious.
Just because I'm gonna feel like I'm watching more of who can outact who in that movie.
Right.
Competitions of wrestling.
yeah. No, but okay. So I'm just like, because I'm like half of the people you're naming. I have to go look it up after this. So I'm like, okay, who is the half of these people?
Maxwell Jacob Friedman,
All right.
the third.
MJF.
Nah, I mean here's the thing is like when I started seeing like more and more wrestlers popping in, like obviously you saw Andre the Giant and Princess Bride. I was gonna say Princess Diary. I'm like, there was no wrestler in that movie, Lena. Then I remember seeing, which he would have still been great, and I would have loved to see him again in this movie that just came out back in December, which is Spider-Man No Way Home. Randy Savage.
Oh,
That
yes.
I would have loved to see him in that again, just to kind of like make a small, tiny cameo again.
Yeah.
You ain't going nowhere. I got you 3 minutes.
Buzzsaw.
Oh, I would have loved to see
Buzzsaw.
that again. I mean, I recently rewatched all of them again. I just like, for me growing up, I saw it. I was like, man, that actor's really good. Saw the documentary on him, and I saw all like the Slim Jims and everything. And I was just like, I could not put two and two until I got older. I was like, oh, that was Randy Savage this whole time? I was like, damn, I didn't even realize that. I mean,
Didn't Roddy Piper appear on a Sharknado?
I have not seen a Sharknado movie. Like, no.
I there was a wrestler or two. Oh, it was Kurt Angle that showed up on Sharknado.
like I said, I have not watched a single
I
Sharknado. I know that like DC Douglas, I think he's in one of them, and even then, I'm just like, I can't bring myself to watch a movie about a tornado that has sharks in it. It does not make sense to me.
All I gotta say, Lena, is that if you're ever bored, those are the type of movies that just will make you laugh of how bad it is. It's like you're just same thing for Mega Shark. Mega Shark versus um uh freaking Mecha Mega Shark and all that stuff. That
someone someone said that Piper was in a movie about aliens with junkyard
They live.
dogs.
They live.
yeah,
I'm
but
here to do two things. I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum. And I'm
yeah,
all bubblegum.
but he was also in a kind of like a rock and roll wrestling movie. Roddy Piper, I mean.
Roddy Piper was in a lot of shit.
Oh, it's like Dwayne.
Yeah.
It's like Dwayne Johnson. I actually am looking at Emily's chat too because I'm having it like here so I can look at it too. And
I
there's
don't
people
know who
saying that
Dwayne
Dwayne
Johnson
has
is.
like so
I
many
need to
bad
go watch.
movies. The guy jumps in everything.
Yes, he does.
everything.
He's in everything.
Like even with
I don't
Kevin
know who
Hart.
Dwayne Johnson is, but if you tell me who The Rock is, I know who The Rock is. I don't know Dwayne.
Yeah.
I know
Listen, I'm just scared about Black Adam. That's all. I'm.
Asked that. I was like, what is your guys' take on him playing Black Adam? Which that movie I think is
I,
coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's this year, but I'm terrified because they're already saying Morbius is horrendous. So I'm terrified about Black Adam.
Well, that's kind of the same way I felt for oh god, Batista. That's in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Like I was the same way too, because I remember when I saw him, I didn't know he was a wrestler until I actually looked it up, saw that he was one. I was like, he did pretty good as Drax.
Yeah, I was about to tell you that. Batista was the perfect Drax. I was so entertained by Drax and when you see Batista just act stupid, it's like this is that same guy I used to cheer in the WWE for powerbombing people. Now he's acting stupid. Yo, this is great.
Yeah. And the sad thing is that this last movie for Guardians of the Galaxy, the third one, is actually going to be his final time playing Drax, and pretty much everyone's
And they say
final
that he
time.
might die.
Well, it's also like what the director said is that this chapter of this team of Guardians is going to come to an end because when he does pick up again, it's going to be a new set of Guardians.
And that's if if there's a new set of Guardians. But you know he also did Stuber, if I'm correct, and that Stuber movie was pretty funny.
Stuber, I gotta look that up. There's like movies that I don't hear about. They're either like they go straight to DVD or they go straight to streaming now. But
Well, it lasted in the movie theater for like 2 weeks, but Stuber was pretty funny. Did you see Stuber or no?
I am not a movie person, except for Harry Potter.
oh, I can't.
So, funny story. I was just watching Harry Potter.
No, I'm not a big movie person. I mean, yes and no. There's things I'll like really want to see, but then like
Okay, I got a funny question to ask you, Em. And same thing for you, Lena, because I know you're a Harry Potter fan too.
No, I'm not actually.
she was
I'm
actually
thought you
a
were.
Kings fan and Hobbit fan.
Okay, so Em, if
Yeah.
you had to choose one current wrestler from the WWE roster right now, or even from the past, it don't matter, anyone, who would have wanted to see in Harry Potter?
I can't because like what's so funny about everybody, Harry Potter,
Brock Lesnar
so like
is Harry Potter.
twiggy.
Wow.
Like
Sal, go back to wherever you came from. Brock Lesnar in Harry Potter? No.
As Harry Potter.
Hagrid.
I want Brock Lesnar and Harry Potter as Harry
No,
Potter.
Braun Strowman should be Hagrid.
Oh my God, Braun Strowman as Hagrid? Oh, that would have been awesome. Yeah, but if Brock Lesnar played in Harry Potter, he would have to be an ogre, like one of those. Yeah, yo, we just made ourselves a fantasy Harry Potter.
Oh no, because
Well, I mean,
it's
my
just like
choice
everybody.
would probably not even matter, but it's just like I said, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan. I think I stopped on Half-Blood Prince, and I kind of stopped when Alan Rickman passed away. But I don't know. I would say Randy Savage. I don't know why. Just to have, I don't know why.
He would have made a good Dumbledore.
Yeah, I mean, Randy
Y'all
Savage.
can have this
I don't know
conversation.
why. It's just either that or just a villain just comes in for a few minutes, kind of like David Tennant's character. He was in there for a few minutes. I've seen clips of that part though, and is gone the next.
Man, who would have made a perfect? Who would have made a perfect Voldemort from the WWE? I wonder.
It's got to be so because Voldemort is so like
Vince.
skinny and like
Vince.
yeah.
Vince McMahon would be the perfect Voldemort.
Somebody said Steve Austin.
So cool.
Steve Austin as Voldemort.
No, as Dumbledore.
Can you imagine Steve Austin saying "Kadabra" or whatever he says that Alakadabra or something?
I don't know. They say so many spells.
They do.
Gold Dust says Voldemort.
Oh man, Lena. Now for you, you said Lord of the Rings and stuff. What WWE superstar would you want to see in Lord of the Rings?
Again, she's only gonna pick somebody.
I know. I'm trying to like really think.
That's fine. That's fine.
He's gonna be like Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake. That's what I'm gonna want to see.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake in Lord of the Rings.
I would. We mentioned in the beginning too. I was like trying to figure out who the hell this person was, and then we said it was it Dink or Donk? What was it?
Doink.
Doink, as one of the not a hobbit, a dwarf. I don't know. Like I said, him running in, throwing something in, and that's it, and just running off. But
she's gonna be like, I want to see Rick the Model Martel as such and such in this movie, or I want Ramon. I want Razor Ramon to be in Scarface.
Yo, that would have been. That would have been great. But Rick the Model Martel would have been a great Legolas. To be quiet.
She's gonna be like, I want to see the Bushwhackers in like a serious movie.
No, not the Bushwhackers. Anyone but the Bushwhackers. Please.
Honestly,
anyone.
Like I know some of the amateurs because I'm actually really good friends with some of the amateur ones. Like I was with the Hughes, which is he's an amateur, and I think he's been on TV a couple times too.
The amateur?
Barrington, I think Barrington.
Barrington. You're talking about the independent stars.
Yes, thank you. That I know some because I have friends in the wrestling community, like George and Barrington and Dash Maverick, I believe his name is. Yeah, Dash Maverick is Dash.
Man, you're bringing back memories.
I know. I'm bringing a lot of the cosplay like wrestlers that I remember, and God, no. I do consider them as wrestlers. Even if they're not professional or not, I will also fan cast them too in some movies too.
To this day, I still think Barrington is still the best Kingpin.
Yes, that's how I met him. That's how I met him. I thought he was the best Kingpin in the whole show. I was just like,
hands down. And Dash Maverick will be a perfect live action Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes. Yeah,
so I'm. That's just me, but like Salvador over there would made great as a freaking in the movie Grease. So I think Emily got the joke on that. Huh?
I don't think he liked.
No, I don't think he liked that one.
When does Salvador Blood Out or like American Me maybe, or we would have been like, you know, mi familia, me perfect, yeah, you know.
No, you'll be perfect in my big fat Greek wedding.
I actually
Windex fixes everything.
You know what? I'm trying to think. You know what movie I think I probably would have been done good in?
I'm afraid.
The Land Before Time.
Oh.
Land Before Time. Isn't that the movie of the dinosaurs? You'll be a caveman. Was there even caveman in the movie?
There was never a caveman in the movie.
I would have been a perfect Littlefoot.
You would.
That movie made me cry.
That made everybody cry.
Yes, it did.
True star.
Like watching that poor little Bronchiosaurus freaking lose his mom. I think
neck. It was known as a long neck, sir. Get it right.
And what the hell's a Bronchiosaurus?
A long neck. Call it a long neck.
The sad thing about that movie is
long necks and the three horns.
If I'm correct, he lost his mom because of
because of a sharp tooth. Sharp tooth killed the long neck.
But the sad story about that movie is
I will go with you against all day, even though I need to start spending some time with my family soon. I will argue with this all day, sir.
Bring it.
Okay.
Littlefoot's mom died because of a freaking shark tooth.
Yeah, which was a T-Rex.
How long we got left for this show?
Anyway, we can keep going.
It was a freaking T-Rex.
So when are we taking it home? So when are we taking this home?
Yeah, when are we taking this home? Because this is gonna be a long argument.
It would, but I'm about to referee this whole fight now. over a long
And it's gonna
shark tooth.
And I feel bad for Emily because when we go live on Wrestle City Radio again, it's going to spill over to
He
that.
doesn't know none of this because Land Before Time was way before her. You know, she was born in like 2001 or some stuff like that. So I mean,
I was born in 97. Thank you.
That was Land Before Time was still before your time.
Yeah,
So then
I still saw it.
So like she knows of like part 4, part 5, and part 6, all of those.
I know.
Yeah, the ones that were straight to DVD.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I was born in '89. I seen
Emily
the first
T-shirt.
Huh?
Emily T-shirt.
T-shirt.
There we go.
My stream, one of my person on my stream said they saw it Land Before Time in theaters.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn. I
Yo.
saw it on VHS. Damn.
Yeah, I saw it on VHS.
Emily, VHSs are these things they used to
Listen, I had an orange VHS of the Rugrats. I know VHS.
hey, I don't know. See,
I had that orange one.
Look,
I
at
owe-
this age, we don't know. Okay, so we just have to make sure.
Hey.
Listen, I had a full childhood. I promise.
Hey, did anyone have that nightmare where you had to when the tape gets stuck in your VCR and the whole ribbon had to be detangled and all that? Did anyone have that problem?
Me.
No,
I did.
I never got worried about
Never.
it.
Never.
I lost so many VHSs because of that.
Well, how many times did you
You
watch
just
the
weren't
film?
careful.
How many
What
times
happened?
did you watch it?
How many what?
How many times did you watch that videotape?
I
That's
don't
how it
know.
happens. When you watch something so consecutively, the film gets tangled up after a while.
All I know is that I lost maybe I think it was 5 or 6, and one of them was one of my favorite movies too, and I was like, no, and yeah.
You're just reckless.
Hey, I try.
No, because
I
was
tried
about
to behave.
sit there and I was just like, if you guys remember those tape record, not tape recorder, those those cassettes, where if it got
I never used
the
them.
film came out, you had to sit there with a pencil and screw it right back in and get it all
Yep.
straightened out. And if you were to mess it
Yep.
up or twist it, it's like you can't fix this.
Listen, I remember those camcorders that was like this, like a freaking, it almost was like your shoulder, and it would come with little tapes like this, and you had to buy the adapter.
Oh God.
Man, I'm making myself.
Times were simpler.
Em, you were born in the time where it's like
okay,
DVD
listen,
now or
I
digital.
had
It's
the
like
VHS and everything. I had a full I had an early 2000s childhood. So it was that shifting time was my childhood.
Okay.
so you kind of were in the era of VHS to DVD to DVD to Blu-ray.
Yeah, and I was VHS, and then I was I remember my mom's first cell phone, and I was obsessing over this flip phone, and it was yep, that was my childhood.
Hey, Lena, I have to ask you this one question before if the show ends soon. You ever worry during the famous war of the Blu-ray versus the Ultra or whatever it was called back in the day? It was Blu-ray, huh?
Blu-ray versus
Yeah,
Ultra High
HD
Def.
DVD. There you go.
Yeah, I remember that.
No, not Ultra High Def. I'm talking about the Blu-ray versus HD DVDs.
Okay, yeah. I remember.
Yeah, it was those black boxes, and there was the blue boxes. And basically, every time you go to Best Buy or whatever, you'll be like, "Oh shit! I hope this movie is also in Blu-ray," and you never found it in Blu-ray. Were you worried during that time?
Yeah, I was. I'm 32.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one now.
I never understood what Blu-ray was.
It's the def like
Just another way of taking your money. That's all.
yeah.
Hey,
Because now they have it just combined in one. Because I remember it used to be separate. Like you wanted
yeah.
regular, you got the regular. You wanted Blu-ray, you got your Blu-ray. Now I have Sonic on DVD, and I have it on Blu-ray as well on the same disc. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Never.
I don't have DVDs no more. I just watch that shit on my Fire Stick.
Hey, I'm just saying this right now. Paul Heyman would have been a great Dr. Eggman.
I have
Paul
theories about
Heyman
that
would have
movie,
been a
so
great.
don't get me started on that. I have theories on that movie. I am like patiently waiting to go watch it next month.
Yeah, Paul Heyman would have been a great Dr. Eggman. Just saying. I'm not
Jim.
dissing Jim Carrey in any way, but because of Paul Heyman, I think he would have been Dr. Eggman.
Hmm.
And I feel like Salvador is the only person that knows who I'm talking about.
I'm reading one of Emily's
But yeah,
streamers or like viewers, watchers, saying that it should have been Jack Black. And
What, as Dr. Eggman?
Dr. Eggman? No.
as
Yeah.
Dr. Robotnik? Nah,
It's
I'm
Dr.
sorry.
Robotnik, but it's just like everyone knows him as Eggman because of his shape.
That's how. I guess I'm dating myself. I know him as Dr. Robotnik.
No, and I do too.
Call him Dr. Robotnik, as one of the barbers from Coming to America said. The mama named him Dr. Robotnik. I'm gonna call him Dr. Robotnik.
Nah.
Freaking Salvador always takes the cake, I swear.
But no, I know him as Robotnik as well. Like I do, and that the name change came because a lot of fans just kept comparing him to an egg and his obsession. Well, now it's his obsession with egg-shaped stuff
I'm sorry, but I don't see the egg shape.
in the
Yeah.
games. The way he's top heavy but skinny legs, so it's like egg shape.
So he looks like Penguin. So he looks like Penguin in Batman Returns.
Yeah, pretty much.
As far as
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Great point there. Danny DeVito.
Oh, Danny DeVito was a great penguin. I'm sorry.
Yep. Oh, I 100% agree. Just like we saw Twilight Boy play a good Batman. I'm not gonna lie, a good Batman.
I have not seen it yet, but okay. So I'm gonna try to go back to the Black Adam, and obviously we have Dwayne as Black Adam. We have Batista as Drax. I'm trying to think of another wrestler that took on another superhero role. Who would you want to see as a
John
superhero?
Cena is Peacemaker.
Oh God,
That's right. John
that
Cena as
show,
Peacemaker. I forgot about that one.
that
That
show,
one, him
that
as Peacemaker was actually perfect, and he actually acted his ass off as Peacemaker.
that show was amazing. That show from top to bottom was amazing. What was his name? Kung Fu something? Kid Kung Fu or the, I forgot his name now. The one in the green suit. That guy was funny.
Well, I was talking about more of the Suicide Squad, the movie that came out. I haven't seen the show Peacemaker.
Oh, well, hey, he played a. I did not expect him to go villain. You know that, and to me, I still have a hard time just computing John Cena using curse words.
It's like Dwayne, like Dwayne Johnson. I see him as a PG-13 or PG, and he curses too, and it's just like, oh.
Y'all never knew The Rock when he played football for the University of Miami. Ooh, Lord. The potty mouth on The Rock when he played football. That's why, like, whenever I see him talk shit, it's like,
Emily, that's called a microphone.
Listen, I know that.
T-shirt, show it.
God, Salvador, I swear, if you continue that gimmick going into our show, I'm gonna wring your neck. Remember, you're the one that lives like maybe 20 minutes from me. I'm gonna wring your neck if you continue. And Salvador now gave me the face. I saying, I wish you would try.
I'll rest the
Listen,
match.
Before anything else, I got one important thing to say. Emily, T-shirt.
Somebody said they need the Rock in a Transformers movie.
Who'd he be?
No, I can't
Other,
with
other, other, than,
Transformers.
other than some fucking superhero with a big fucking gun, I mean, what Killer Rock really wearing tight ass shirts, holding a big fucking gun like what?
They said exactly.
Sal, you're awesome. I freaking love you, man. Sorry, that was just too funny. I apologize. I'll stay quiet.
No.
Yes, please do.
I just can't with Transformers after like the amount they're coming up with, and now it's just Fast and the Furious, and it's like Fast and the Furious 10 Part 1. I'm like,
Oh gosh.
God, please stop already. Just stop.
And it's ridiculous.
Oh,
And then
I had the most funny thing happen to me today. You know who I got compared to? There's no way in hell I look like this dude. Long hair and all in my beard, and there's no way in hell I look like Jason Momoa. And somebody comparing me saying I look like Jason Momoa. I'm like, where the fuck do I look like Jason Momoa at? Because there's no fucking chance in hell that I look like a Jason.
you know what? I feel like you just compared yourself to Jason Momoa, so you...
No, because okay, I had made a post earlier about me probably cutting my hair off.
Yeah, you did.
So one of my friends who's a wrestling fan is like, nah, bro, you've grown your hair, you over, and then he posted a picture of Jason Momoa. Like, bro, you're the only person in this world to say I look like Jason Momoa. Because
You
there's
need to
no,
put some highlights in your hair if you want to look like him.
I'm like, there's no way. I don't even look like Jason Momoa's left ass cheek, let alone look like him.
Gamer says he could see it. It's the beard, man, he said.
Yeah.
Nah.
I think we lost
George, you are muted.
Yeah, you're muted, George.
Good. We don't have to hear him.
Okay. At least you were not compared to Enrique Iglesias.
I see it.
Somebody shoot me now.
Wait. What did you just say, Emily? You
T-shirt.
see it?
T-shirt.
Wait, Emily, did you just say that you see it? I'm not muted this time. Oh my God, are you all tricking me? Wait a minute.
No, what's funny is because we were all saying you were muted, but then we were all acting like we were muted. It's so funny.